Have you ever wondered how a civilization as grand and sophisticated as the Persian Empire, a culture with thousands of years of history, its own language, and a powerful state religion, ended up becoming one of the most devout Islamic nations on the planet? It is one of history's most fascinating transformations. Today, we're peeling back the layers of a story that spans 14 centuries, from the fall of the mighty Sassanids to the world-shaking 1979 revolution. We are exploring how Persia became Iran and why the Persians are Muslims but definitely not Arabs. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, and today we are diving into the complex soul of Iran. To understand the world today, you have to understand the Persian heart. By the end of this episode, you'll understand the three major turning points that shifted an entire civilization's faith, how they managed to keep their language alive while others lost theirs, and what life actually looks like inside a modern theocracy where the public face and the private heart are often miles apart. Let's start in the year 651. Imagine the Sassanid Empire. It's a superpower, the rival of Rome, but it's exhausted. Decades of constant warfare and a crushing caste system have left the common people feeling alienated. When the Arab-Muslim armies swept out of the desert, they didn't just bring swords, they brought a message of equality that hit a nerve. Now, there's a common misconception that Persians were forced to convert at sword point overnight. The reality is much more subtle. It took centuries. Many converted for social mobility. If you wanted a job in the new government, you needed to be Muslim. Others did it for the jizya, a tax on non-Muslims. But most importantly, early Islam's promise that all believers were equal regardless of race was incredibly attractive to those stuck at the bottom of the old Persian class hierarchy. But here's the twist. While countries like Egypt or Iraq became Arabized, losing their native tongues to Arabic, the Persians said no. They adopted the religion, but they fought for their culture. There's a famous saying, the Arabs conquered Persia, but Persian culture conquered the Arabs. Persians became the bureaucrats, the scientists, and the poets of the Islamic Golden Age. They kept their language, Farsi, and their stories alive. Fast forward to the 16th century, and we hit the second big pivot, the Safavid dynasty. This is why Iran is Shiite today. Before this, most Persians were actually Sunni. But the Safavids wanted a clear identity to distinguish themselves from their rivals, the Ottoman Turks. They made Shiite Islam the state religion by force, weaving the Persian national identity together with the Shiite faith. From that moment on, being Persian and being Shiite became two sides of the same coin. If you're finding this deep dive into history eye-opening, do us a quick favor. Hit that follow button on your podcast app and leave us a 5-star review. It helps other history buffs find these stories. Now, let's jump to the modern era. The final piece of the puzzle is the 1979 Islamic Revolution. Before 1979, Iran was under the Shah. It was a world of miniskirts, Hollywood movies, and rapid westernization. But beneath the surface, there was a massive gap between the wealthy elite and the religious poor. When Ayatollah Khomeini returned from exile, he didn't just change the government, he launched a total social experiment. This was the birth of Velayat-e-Faqih, or the guardianship of the jurist. For the first time, the highest religious scholar became the ultimate political authority. Think about the cultural revolution that followed. From 1980 to 1983, universities were shut down to purify them of Western influence. Textbooks were rewritten. The mandatory hijab law was passed, changing the literal face of Iran's streets overnight. Yet the impact was complex. While the urban middle class lost their social freedoms, the revolution actually brought infrastructure to the neglected countryside. Electricity, clean water, and schools reached rural villages for the first time. Paradoxically, because the new society was religiously safe, traditional families finally let their daughters go to school. Today, more than 50% of university students in Iran are women, a demographic shift the revolutionaries might not have fully anticipated. This has created what many call a dual life in modern Iran. In public, there is the morality police and the strict Islamic code. But behind closed doors, people wear Western clothes, listen to banned music, and watch satellite TV. It's a nation living in two parallel universes. So, what have we learned? We've seen that the Islamization of Persia wasn't a single event, but a 1,000-year journey of survival and adaptation. The Persians took a desert religion and dressed it in the silk of their own ancient culture. They survived the Arab conquest, defined themselves against the Ottomans through Shiite Islam, and finally, in 1979, attempted to build a modern state entirely on faith. Whether that experiment has succeeded or failed depends on who you ask in the streets of Tehran today. But one thing is certain, the Persian spirit remains as resilient as ever. Thank you so much for spending your time with me today. If you want to see the visual side of this history, I've put some links in the show notes. Until next time, keep questioning the stories you think you know.